What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Morning Movie Chat. I'm your host, Trinity. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the Second Street Marvel today. I do greatly appreciate that, and I appreciate all of you so much for being here to come here and watch me flap my gums. Now, God, man, can you believe it? We're already midweek. It seems like the week just started, but I guess that's just kind of how my week has been, with, my business and everything, kids and all that stuff. It's been pretty crazy. I hope you're all having a very good day today. I hope, hopefully, let me know down in the comments below. Did you go out and get a morning workout in? Did you get to go out on a walk? Did you go out on a jog? Did you lift some weights? Did you do anything good like that? Something good for your health? Let me know, because I think you should have. And in case you did, or even if you didn't, make sure you stay hydrated. Make sure that you have some water with you. Always have I can't even leave the house, to go, to the grocery store, even to the comic shop for a few minutes without a bottle of water or a glass of water or something like that. And, you guys can see, look, this is how big of a nerd I am. I'm actually carrying it, in my Thor glass. That's right. Yeah, my Thor Ragnarok glass. But so I hope you're all having a very good day today. Now, in case you guys can't see, today we are going to be talking about, once again, another Kevin Smith movie, and that will be Mallrats. Now, the reason I'm doing this is kind of been brushing up on some of the. I was going to talk about it a little bit yesterday, but I didn't even get to watch it all before that neither. But in case you guys don't know, the reason I've been talking about these Kevin Smith movies is tonight, over on Fanjexer's channel, he does these bracket tournaments where we're going to go through and we're going to rank the Kevin Smith movies. I think you guys should definitely get involved with this. Go subscribe to Fanjexer's channel. If you look down in the description on this video, there is a link to not only the video that you can go and hit your reminders and make sure you're there for tonight, but you can also, there's a link down there right below that one where you can go and subscribe to Fanjexer and become part of the fun. Cast your vote and let your voice be heard about which Kevin Smith movie will be the best. I believe that is going down at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which would be 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I guarantee you guys should go there and subscribe and be ready for the show. I mean, because I'm going to be on it, right? I mean, come on. I mean, Adam's a cool dude and everything, but, come on. I'm just kidding. Seriously, though, Adam is a great guy. I'm going to have fun here talking about these Kevin Smith movies tonight over on Fanjexer's channel, so make sure you guys go and check that out. So let's see here. We got LB from The Lonely Banter says, I am here. Well, thank you so much for being here, LB. Fanjexer is here as well. I am True Skills. I got your message. Keep a lookout in your inbox, bro. Keep a lookout. After the show, of course. Lorena Creole says, dude, you had me at Mallrats. Awesome. Yeah, Mallrats is such a great movie. For the love of movies, Kobe, hello, how are you doing today? Hope you're doing well. Captain Pennsylvania says, what's up, fellas? Mark Spector Comics is in the house as well. Thank you so much for being here. Fanjexter says, I had oatmeal. Does that count as a workout? No, it doesn't count as a workout. I mean, depending on how thick it was, and if you had to, get the spoon through there But no, you should. No oatmeal, dude. No, you gotta go hashtag keep it keto, man. I'm kidding. No, oatmeal's good. Actually, oatmeal's sometimes what I have before I go out on a good bike ride with my friends. What I do is I'll have a bowl of oatmeal. I'll toss a little bit of cinnamon in there, and then maybe a tablespoon of syrup. Kind of sweeten it up a little bit, and then I fry an egg and I slap that thing right on top there. Ooh, and don't forget the tablespoon of peanut butter as well. And I mix all that stuff up, and then I just have it, and I'm telling you, it's like rocket fuel for a ride, bro. It's really good stuff. I do like oatmeal. Lorena Creole says, working from home, dude, living that IT life. Oof, man, that's rough. That is rough, but hey, at least you get to work from home. That's awesome, and thank you again for being here. Captain Pennsylvania says, enjoying my day. What's up, bro? To Fanjexer. All right. Let's see. Who else? We got Wookiee Supremacy in here. Says, good morning, true believers. Perry is here from Perry's Comics and Perry and the Comic Book Lurkers. You guys should make sure that you go subscribe to Perry's channel as well as I Am True Skills, man. I Am True Skills does some very good videos over there covering comic books. He does a little different style than I do, and we all kind of have our different style. That's the beauty about doing like comic book reviews. Everybody has their own little style, and I Am True Skills does some very good work. And Perry Comics, I was watching his show for a little bit last night after I was watching The Dark Council for a little while, and checked out Perry Comics and his Comic Book Lurkers, and came across a couple of new channels that we're going to subscribe to. So you should definitely go sure and make sure you check that out. And I'll tell you, make sure that you tune into Perry Comics channel here later today, because he will be teaming up with, if I'm not mistaken, if I didn't hear that, if I heard that right, was he's going to be teaming up with Edwin the Comic Jabroni, and they're going to go out and do some comic book shopping. I believe one of the channels to follow here, I believe, is the Comics Club. They own a comic book shop, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that they are getting ready to head there today. They're probably going to be shooting a video, doing that together. It's going to be a good time. Yesterday, they were all on over on Rod the Rican's channel. In case you guys don't know Rod the Rican, that's Just a Rican and his comics. They were over there doing Buy or Pass. I believe that was Buy or Pass, where they're talking about the comic books that are releasing this week and whether they're going to buy them or pass on them. And you guys should make sure that you go check that out. Especially, I can't wait to see that video as well, because Perry Comics, Perry is a cool dude, man. He's a great dude. Watching his videos, he started this thing called The Lurkers, the comic book lurkers, where he goes through and he basically promotes other comic book YouTubers by just going through their videos and talking about them. You sit there and you watch him watch YouTube. I know, it sounds funny, but it's so addicting. And it's actually something that inspired Fatal J's live stream hijacking show when he was doing that for a little while. It's been a while since he's done one. But that's kind of what inspired that as well. You should definitely go and check it out. Always a good time, and like I said, these are two of the best dudes out there, and that's Edwin the Comic Jabroni. He's a super cool dude, man. You should watch his. He usually does some live streams like on Friday, talking about either the indie books or the Marvel books that he pulled for the week. He kind of switches it up a little bit. Great guy. Perry Comics, a great dude. You got two dudes getting ready to get together and make a great video. I know it's going to be good. It's going to be fun. It's going to be entertaining. And are you guys getting together with Rod too? Is Rod going to be around? Where's Rod the Rican at? He's another one of the great ones. One of the Four Horsemen. And yeah, it was a cool show. Yesterday watching that as well. And they had a special guest on. They had Dylan from Dylan's Comic Book Rants on there as well. It was cool. It was fun to see that. It was fun to see that. And there was a whole lot of live streams going on last night, man. I was kind of jumping back and forth between a whole bunch of different ones. Perry Comics says, I just had a chicken McGriddle from McDonald's. It was awesome. Oh, dude, don't be eating that stuff, bro. You can't be eating that stuff. That stuff's bad for you, man. You might as well just do some really, really bad drugs for you as well, man. That's what, as a matter of fact, that's actually the food is probably even worse. The food is probably even worse. And no, I'm not promoting anything else here. I'm just saying that, fast food's bad for you. Try to avoid it as much as possible. I'm not saying I don't eat fast food or that you shouldn't. I mean, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. But hey, I understand. Sometimes you get, you're strapped for time. Sometimes you're in a hurry. You got things you got to do. You're on the go. I get it. But, take a banana with you. Take a salad with you. Take a tomato with you. Take, a piece of fruit, a piece of vegetable. Something. I don't know. I like avocados. You can take avocados and just cut them up and just sit there and eat them. I put like some hot sauce on them sometimes. Maybe take a lemon and squeeze some lemon on there. Put some salt and pepper. Damn, it's good. Man, I'm making myself hungry just thinking about it. For the Love of Movies says, making food takes longer than eating it. It does. And you know what's funny is, if you ever get into you're a young man, but like if you ever get into like juicing, like juice fasting, or even just fasting altogether where you're just drinking water, like you really realize you get so many more minutes in a day. You kind of start to realize, like, man, we waste a lot of time eating food, preparing it, eating it, all that stuff. Ugh. It kind of makes me sick thinking about it. How much time we do that. Mark Spector Comics says, gross, Perry, eat real food. Perry Comics says, yeah, he flew down to Florida. We're going to have a play date later today. It will be epic. Yes, can't wait to see that, man. Can't wait to see it. Lorena says, hey, yeah, Fatal hasn't jacked anyone's live streams in a minute. Yeah, I know. It seems like it's been a while. Maybe I'll have to get a hold of him and be like, hey, bro, I'm going to go live, on X amount a day, and you better come and hijack my live stream. Otherwise, I feel offended, man. I feel offended. He says, "Haha, thanks, man. Trying to get Rod to come. Yeah, man, you guys better drag Rod out of the, drag him out of his scrubs and get him to go with you, man. Get him to drop those scrubs for a day. Hey, come with you. It'd be awesome." Wookiee Supremacy says, "Skip the Mickey D's and smoke yourself some crackers." Oh, man. No, Wookiee, that's not what I'm saying. No. See, it always comes off bad. Whenever you try to say that fast food is bad, you gotta find it something to compare it to, and that's really the best thing that you could find is drugs, because it's the same. Oh man. Oh, that's funny. Nathan But Game, thank you so much for being here, my brother. I hope you're well, man. I hope all is going well with you, man. He says, half the fun is in prep and cooking. Now, I'll agree with that. Like, I don't mind. When I first started doing keto, I used to prep like crazy. I'd prep for like three days in a row and all that stuff, and then it was kind of like, man, like, eventually I got so good at it, where I wasn't having to, look at every little thing, where I'm just like, okay, like I can just kind of just go in the moment at this point. But Kevin Pennsylvania says, "That'll thin you up." Oh man, you guys are cracking me up this morning. But okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. It is New Comic Book Day today as well, guys, and I already dropped one review on my channel. And you know what, guys, like, I know not all of you read comic books, but I know there's plenty of you here who do. What I want to start doing is I want to see if there's a way, maybe I need to start doing my comic book previews again, for you guys to say, what comic books would you like me to drop reviews of first here on the channel? Typically, I have been dropping the X-Men titles, the Dawn of X titles. I've been doing all of those first. I've been doing a lot of these first, because it's like the hot titles. Everybody wants to talk about them. I've been shooting and doing these first and dropping these videos usually like on late Tuesday night to do those reviews. And, I've kind of, like, and that's all fine, and I realize that they're big ones that a lot of people want to talk about, find out if they want to do them. But, Professor Bill over at Comic Book University, somebody I'm a Patreon supporter of, he does a live stream every Tuesday night talking about them, where he does that. He usually goes in for about an hour talking about those. So I went ahead and I held off this week. I've got the video shot and everything. I've got to get it rendered and uploaded here for you guys to check out. But I want to find a way. Maybe I should start doing that like Perry does, like the week before, maybe like on Thursday or Friday instead, about what comic books are getting ready to come out the next week and what ones you guys would like me to do reviews of first here on the channel. Like this week, I switched it up a little bit and I did a review for Thor issue number 2 by Donny Cates. And I've got to tell you, I'm not really big into Thor, never really read a whole lot of Thor, but I got to tell you, this book right here, it's pretty good. It's pretty good so far. I like what Donny Cates has done here. Now, there is some of the nitpicks I have with the art, and I was talking about that in the video a little bit. Nothing major. It's not like it's bad art or anything. Just little things here and there that I don't particularly like myself. Like, it's kind of funny. I mean, he kind of looks like, what's his name? In this, Sam Jones. Isn't it Sam Jones? Flash Gordon? The character in here of Thor actually kind of looks like Sam Jones from Flash Gordon in there. But anyway, so I've got that video already up here on the channel. Make sure you go check it out, and I will be dropping that X-Men video again here in just a little while today. But yeah, we've got plenty of other comic books that came out this week as well, man. Look at that big old thick stack, man. Like, one of these days, man. One of these days. Hopefully, like, can we get some comic book publishers making some bad comics? And bad comics that I don't want to read to review? That would be great. That would be great. Wookiee Supremacy says, if you smoke enough meth, you won't have the teeth to eat McDonald's. Problem solved. Oh, man. Yes, that's true. I'm True Skill says, I want some oatmeal now. Can't lose my stomach. For the Love of Movie says, guess what? I've got a job interview on Saturday at 12. It's a bit ironic, especially what my channel is about. It's my local cinema. Dude, Kobe, that's awesome, dude. Good luck on your interview. You know what? Just go in there, be yourself. Don't be nervous or anything. Just go in there and just, all they're looking for is to see, like, are you trainable? Can you talk to people and things like that? Interviews, like, it seems like people rack their brains over interviews, what to do and how to dress and all of that kind of stuff. The thing I always did, like, when I was younger, I never really did, like, the whole, like, dress up really nice thing and everything like I always just went in there as myself, because I always figured you're wanting to hire me, not this not this false. I'm not going to try to give you a false perception of who I am. I'm going to give you me. I'm going to go in a t-shirt and some jeans because that's how I dress. Now, I mean, I'm not going to go in a tank top and some shorts, some basketball shorts, and some flip flops because that's how I dress most of the time. I don't do that when I go in for interviews, but I usually wear just a pair of pants and a t-shirt or something like that. Occasionally, I would bust out a button-up shirt, but again, not like with the tie and all that stuff. Yeah, I just and I'm not saying not to do that neither. I mean, if that's you, I mean, go ahead. I mean, you always want to present yourself as best you can, but good luck with that, Kobe, man. Good luck with that, and that would be awesome for you to get that job at your local cinema, because I do know one of the things they do is they generally tend to let you watch movies for free there. I'm not sure how often, but you get to watch some of the movies for free, and I know for your channel that would greatly help out. But I would honestly, I would tell them at the same time, maybe you might not want to tell them that you have a YouTube channel where you review movies, or you might. I mean, get a feel for them and how they might feel about that and what they might think about that. Because some places might see that and be like, oh, I don't know. Maybe just in it to get a job, just to watch movies for free and stuff like that. And you know what? Honestly, a lot of people get those jobs for that stuff too. But hey, man, seriously, good luck with that. Good luck with that, man. I hope you get that job. Captain Pennsylvania says, finally caught up to Dawn of X. Maybe somebody out there likes Conan. Conan. What you mean, like, do I like Conan? I haven't really read a whole lot of Conan myself. But he is a cool character, and Marvel does like have the rights to him now and everything. I don't know that they always had the rights to him. There's something weird going on there. Mark Spector says, do one on Immortal Hulk. Mark Spector, I could do that, but I haven't read any Immortal Hulk. I haven't read any of the Immortal Hulk series at all. So I'll have to do that. Like when I do the lists, I'll probably tell you guys what books I plan on getting and which ones you guys would like me to do reviews on. But I also can pick up certain books just to review as well, even if they're ones I'm not reading. I can do that though. I can do that. I'll see if I can do that for you this week. Captain Pennsylvania says, for the love of movies, congrats, bro. Go kill him. Exactly, man. Good luck with that interview. Nail it. Nathan Big Game says, you following the new Thor issues? I'm intrigued by the Secret Crisis talk with Thor 2 and Doomsday Clock, I guess. I'm missing some info. I am following the new Thor issues. That's what these ones are. He says, I'm intrigued by the Secret Crisis talk and Thor 2 and Doomsday Clock, I guess. I honestly don't know a whole lot about that, like what you mean there, as far as any of that. I'm not really for sure a lot of that. I mean, I know like in this book they got this thing called the Black Winter that is coming up, the Star Plague that's going to kill everybody in the universe. Seems like something pretty major. And I'm telling you guys, in issue number 2 here of Thor, at the very end, dude. The very end. I mean, the book is great because we see a lot of discourse between Galactus and Thor, but then at the very end of the issue, man, we get a character reveal. I guess not a reveal. Or we get a character that steps in and. Whew, man, I'm telling you, next month is going to be great. It's going to be great to see with everything that's going on. Let's see. Wookiee Supremacy says, that's not irony. What's not irony? Man, I missed something. Aggressively Relaxed says, I love Conan and Savage Avengers. Absolutely. You know, I'm still a few issues behind on Savage Avengers, but I do like the Savage Avengers book. It's been good. It's kind of a slow burn, but the slow burn that it is a good burn. You know what I mean? I'm not sure how to explain that. Savage Avengers is back next week. Awesome. I can't wait to read it. Maybe I'll see if I can get caught up on the issues here this weekend. Captain Pennsylvania says, I'm going to talk about him until he drops in the MCU. Oh, we're talking about Conan. Yes. I kind of wonder if they're going to go there too. I almost wonder if they are. I Am True Skill says, I want to review Spider-Man Daily Bugle. Yes. Apex Comics says, be confident in your interview. Absolutely, 100%, Kobe. Be confident. Just go in there, and that's why I say, just be yourself. I mean, you seem like a bright young man, and you seem very confident in what you're doing, watching your movie reviews and things like that. If you guys haven't checked out For the Love of Movies, go check it out. Go check out his channel, subscribe. He does some very good interviews for being a young man. Definitely on his way to being a great movie reviewer. But you definitely be confident. Snow Dub Music and Entertainment says, Yenner check, gender check, gender check. Haha, slap that like button, peeps. Thank you so much for being here, Snow Dub. I greatly appreciate it. Fanjextra says, I worked at a movie theater like 15 years ago. Only lasted one day. I hated it. I knew if I didn't quit, I would hate going to theaters to watch the movies. That's funny. There's not a whole, I don't know that I've had any jobs that I've quit after a day. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but I would love to work at the movie theater just for the free movies. Hell, I'd tell them like, you don't even have to pay me. Just let me in and watch the movies for free. I'll work for you like part time, like 10 hours, 20 hours a week, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what it would be worth. Okay, maybe I'll tell them to pay me too. Marvel had the rights back in the '70s. Got them back a few years ago. Okay, all right. What's up, Lord Callus? Thank you so much for being here, my brother. I hope you're doing well this morning. Apex Comics says, great background. Thank you so much. Actually, I changed it up recently, and I'm going to kind of change it up again. The same posters, but I'm going to probably kind of reconfigure them just a little bit. A Duder Review says, yo, what's up, my brother? How are you doing, a Duder? Wookiee Supremacy says, I can't put my movie review on YouTube. I do a definitive breakdown of Kicking in Her Backdoor 23. So much better than Kicking Her in Her Backdoor 22. Stunning cinematography. Oh, man. I'm not even going to ask what Kicking in Her Backdoor is. I'm going to assume that it is an adult feature. Oh man, that's so funny. There's speculation that the Black Winter crosses universes and Thor and Hulk end up in the DC universe in 2030 for an event they call Secret Crisis in Doomsday Clock. They named Thor by name even. Really? That's interesting. That's very interesting. And honestly, I gotta say, it's almost kind of a letdown. I mean, only because Marvel needs to reel in and they need to reel that stuff in and get their stuff. They need to get their shit right before they go trying to cross in universes. Marvel can't even do events right now. They can't even do their own events right. Okay, they have problems doing it a little, even mini events, they have problems doing. They cannot commit to them. They cannot release comic books in a sensical manner, in a sensical order, in which it makes it easy for the reader to read and keep up with. They cannot do it. Marvel needs to, if that's true, Marvel just needs to stop. They need to concentrate on their own stuff first before thinking about doing crossovers. Thank you so much for being here, Perp Minded. Wookiee Supremacist said, I love waiting for Trina to read my comments. Oh, man. Anyway, okay. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get into today's subject for the day. Oh man, we're already a little behind here, man. God, it's already been almost a half hour. Well, 20 minutes anyway. So yeah, today, like I said, I am going to be on Fanjexer's channel. You guys should make sure you go check it out. Go subscribe to Fanjexer. We're tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We are going to be talking about Kevin Smith movies. We're going to rank them. We're going to discuss them. We're going to debate them, and we're going to see which is the best Kevin Smith movie. And today, I'm going to talk about Mallrats is the movie that I was brushing up on last night. I watched a little bit of it, late yesterday, the day before. Yesterday, but then I finally got a chance to sit down and watch more of it and pay a little more attention to it last night. And guys, I gotta tell you, Mallrats is one of the greats. It's one of the great Kevin Smith movies, and we can go back and we can look at all of Kevin Smith's movies and think about how good they are, how great they are, how well they stand the test of time and things like that. And a lot of those things, a lot of the reasons I feel that his movies stand the test of time is because he's not doing any big over-the-top graphics to where this movie is going to be insignificant now, or even earlier as compared to what it was then, because he's not using cutting-edge graphics and trying to tell that kind of story a lot like they do in like the MCU and a lot of those kind of movies, even action movies these days and horror flicks. They use a lot of computer animation, CG graphics, and all those kinds of things, green screen and all that stuff. He don't do that in these films. He uses practical sets, good dialogue, good story, good world building, and everything like that. And he built quite a world with all of these films that he did. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Mallrats was the second movie that he did, or the first movie he did after Clerks, being his first movie. And God, I want to say Clerks was in 1994. Was it 94 or was it 93? But it was just before this, because Mallrats was released in 1995. And this movie has a lot of great actors in it. I mean, we've got Jason Lee. Obviously, we've got Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes. Michael Rooker is in this movie as well. We also got Shannon Doherty in here? And then Priscilla Barnes, Claire Forlani, and also in Jeremy London. Yeah, for some reason I could remember Jeremy London's name. We also got Ethan Suplee, And there's also Joey Lauren Adams actually makes an appearance in this movie as well. Now, Kevin Smith, he's kind of somewhat like Quentin Tarantino, where he uses a lot of the same actors for a lot of his movies and things like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, if you got good chemistry, or, you know, some of these people may have even been his friends before he talked them into doing this movie with him. But this one is a very good one. And this one kind of makes me wonder, you know, like, this is one of those ones that's hard to judge because it's so great, but it's also at the same time it's kind of dated almost. It almost seems like it's kind of dated, just because it takes place, you know, back in the '90s, and it's really got that '90s feel to it. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, like I was saying the other day with my Bad Boys for Life review, that movie kind of reminded me of a buddy cop movie from the 1990s, like a movie like we don't get anymore. It's a real throwback kind of movie. Peter Colabucci, thank you so much for being here. I'm doing great. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing well. It's Wednesday. It's Hump Day. It's New Comic Book Day. Of course, I'm doing great. But yes, Mallrats is a good one, and you know, obviously it's got a cameo in here by Stan Lee, but this one was really funny because this one really played on some of the things, like it's like the movie pretty much opens up with these really great comic panels that they had done for the movie, some homage to some different comic books in the past and things like that. And then it jumps right in to our main characters here, you know, and you know, kind of setting up the movie like a good movie does. It sets up the drama and what's going to be happening, and we see that basically we get a reference right off the bat. We get a reference back to Clerks, where we learn. Gosh, well, I'm pretty sure it was in Clerks where we learned about the girl who died mid backstroke. Wasn't it in that movie? I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of something else, and because I know definitely in Chasing Amy that came out a few years later, they made reference to both of Mallrats and even Clerks there as well. But Mallrats kind of starts off with some of those things, some of those callbacks and things like that to Clerks, and then moves forward into, you know, just to the story here. Now the thing is like I say this movie's really dated because obviously the music that's in it, obviously a lot of the character interactions and things like that. We see these kids are hanging out at a mall. I mean, like, do kids even hang out at malls anymore? You know what I mean? They also had the TV show, like it was like the dating game there with Michael Rooker there as well, where, you know, they were setting up at the mall to shoot this TV show and everything. It was pretty funny. Ethan Suplee in there, his role where he's sitting there trying to see those subliminal what were those called, subliminal images or whatever in the pictures. Just watching this movie really cracks me up, really cracks me up. But I think this movie Mallrats, it's really like for people like me, people like you probably, if you like comic books, this one really plays into a lot of that. As do, I mean, really a lot of Kevin Smith movies do. But obviously we get Stan Lee in here, but we see that the characters here are really kind of obsessed with video games and comic books, and you know, a lot of that kind of plays into the story, as the story is largely about this couple that end up breaking up and trying to get them back together, and you know, it takes place mostly in a mall, hence Mallrats. Ben Affleck makes an appearance in the movie, being very hilarious. We were talked a little bit about that yesterday, but getting back to like this movie Mallrats, as much as I love this movie, as much as I love Mallrats, this movie, and how great it is, I've got to think, you know, I can't wait. It's going to be interesting seeing how this movie does tonight. Because while this movie is good, I think it's definitely not one of his better films. And it's not that it's a bad film. It's just I don't know that it necessarily ranks as high as I would have once thought. You know, as I would have once thought. Kind of going back and doing a retrospective on all of these films, because this one, while it has a lot of comedy in it, it has funny things in it. It has some good messages in there as well. It has some decent drama. This one doesn't quite hit all of the marks. Again, this was, I believe, his second film, so he was still getting that stride as well. Where he like Clerks 1 was pure comedy, and it was pure comedy just because, I mean, it's just like a day in the life of, you know, a day in the life of a sales clerk. And, you know, so pretty much it's all comedy. There's no real drama in the Clerks movie. I mean, there are some things that happen, but it's mostly just like a funny, quirky, you know, comedy movie. Mallrats is where Kevin Smith started to step it up a little bit more to play into a little bit more drama. Where we see it's got plenty of funny things in here. We see plenty of interactions between once again between some like retail clerks and things like that, and then he interjects some drama in here between the kids kind of growing up in their relationships where they break up, and just some of that stuff where we see the like Brody breaks up with his girlfriend at the beginning of the movie, as well as, and I can't remember Jeremy London's character's name in this movie, but him and his girlfriend, they broke up as well. And it's kind of like, the reason I don't think it's not as driven by drama is because it's more talking about like, like teenage love and things like that, and just kind of, it's a more of a coming of age story. But he still manages to hit these really great dramatic themes in it, by way of these characters as well. Because just like I was talking about yesterday during talking about Chasing Amy, is what's so great about like that scene with Joey Lauren Adams and Ben Affleck, where they're kind of sitting there confronting each other with their uncomfortable feelings of love and things like that. A lot of those same things are addressed in Mallrats. It's like this was like a precursor to that, where we see these people are a little bit younger, dealing with those things and love and relationships. And that's one thing I really like about this movie is, because this movie deals with, in a way, the same thing I feel like about Superbad is it deals with confrontation, and are maybe we're uncomfortable confronting others when it comes to things, especially when it comes to our feelings, because when our feelings are involved with things, it makes us want to approach things differently. We want to be more careful because we don't want to be hurt. We don't want to expose ourselves and be vulnerable. And I think a movie like Mallrats does a really good job of that while still maintaining a whole comedy vibe throughout. And some of those things, and I feel it's something that kind of has matured in all of Kevin Smith's movies as he has gone along, and that's the thing. I think that's such the great thing about watching. What's going to be so great about tonight's show is watching that evolution of Kevin Smith's filmmaking, and just how a lot of like his comedy matured. His comedy, it got a lot funnier as time went on, but so the drama that he brought into these movies got really great as well. His I guess his dialogue, his character interactions, his writing got better as he went along, and maybe it's not that it got better, but maybe he got better at directing it and portraying that more on screen, because this movie is like that next step forward after Clerks in maturing in the comedy and even the drama as we're move into young adults dealing with these love afflictions, I guess, if you will. And then you move into Chasing Amy that came out later, which is definitely more adult. And the thing I like about that is same thing I like a lot about, like, when it comes to rom-coms and just movies like this, like Mallrats. I wouldn't say it's a romantic comedy, and I wouldn't even say that about Chasing Amy, that I don't even think it's a romantic comedy, but is seeing characters dealing with these difficult situations, things that people are uncomfortable dealing with in their lives. Like I said, exposing themselves, exposing yourselves and being vulnerable to somebody else, to whether it's expressing your love for them, and wanting and hoping that they feel the same way and return that, or still approaching that situation and keeping yourself guarded and still approaching the situation in knowing that you don't want to be hurt and still addressing the issues at hand. I think these things are very important in our lives. Communication for all of us is a key thing. We got to be able to communicate with others. You know what I mean? We got to be able to confront situations, to confront others, even if that means fate. That's the most important part about it, is owning up to our own shit. Owning up to our own shit and being able to do that and be adults about it, and being able to take and handle criticism like an adult. And it's not easy to do. It's not an easy thing for anybody to do, because, like, honestly, like like when I was younger, I was hard at it too, man. Like, I didn't, it was hard to confront those kinds of things with like personal feelings and things like that. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't always good at it. Like I was, like a lot of people like a lot of people, always tried to avoid confrontation because a lot of people don't like confrontation and cannot do it. They have to avoid the confrontation with others, whether that's by somebody who has like offended them or their own personal feelings when it comes to matters of love and things like that. So that's something I like seeing in these movies, and we'll get into that tonight as you go on and progress through Kevin Smith's movies. Each one of them hits that beat and really ups the ante just a little bit more each and every time, from comedy and drama. And that's the great thing. I've talked a lot about, me and Stevie J's Reviews had a great conversation a while back about why comedians or people from comedic backgrounds seem to do so good once they reach into dramatic films and doing drama. They're so good at it. And there are some out there who have went from doing dramas to coming in and doing more comedic roles who do good just as well. Now, I believe a lot of that is because, comedy is very tricky. Comedy is a lot about timing. It's a lot about micro expressions and the way that we, portray that on film and get that across to people. Kevin Smith does such a great job of that. And that's why I think a lot of comedians are great at doing that, or people from comedic backgrounds. Because Tom Hanks isn't a comedian, but he came from a comedic background doing more funny stuff. And look at how great of a drama actor he is now. But I think a lot of it has to do with like micro expressions in their faces and trying to deliver lines of dialogue and things in a way that can be funny, and at times it can come off as dramatic. And then a really great movie can take and go from being funny 1 minute and then bam, hitting you in the face that next second like a gut punch and dragging you into some drama. I know I talked a while back about the movie Observe and Report, how it does that. In the movie Observe and Report, not a Kevin Smith movie or anything, but you watch that movie goes along and it's really funny. You're really getting some laughs, and then out of the blue, just like bam, it punches you right in the gut. With next thing you know, this security guy, this guy's buddy, Seth Rogen's friend, who is Michael Pena in the film. Next thing you know, this dude's like shooting up like heroin and stuff in the movie, like right during the middle of a scene when they were doing their jobs, being mall cops, going around doing funny shit, and like the next thing you know, bam, punches you right in the face with some really heavy dramatic shit. It's like whoa, like damn. A great movie can do that. And now Kevin Smith don't really do that in any of his films, and we'll talk more about that tonight. But he does know what it takes to hit those strides, to go from doing comedy to hitting a good dramatic pace. I mean, all these things here, and a lot of that is really prevalent in this film, where it hits a lot. It's got a lot of that funny stuff in there. It's got plenty of comedic value, and then it still has some of those great dramatic moments that are kind of grounded by and really brought in by the late great Stan the Man Lee, as he comes in and offers Brody he offers him some very great relationship advice, and of course he relates all of that to comic books because that's who he is. He's the one above all, man. This is Stan Lee we're talking about, and he comes in and he drops some knowledge for this character. Oh man, it wasn't even Brody's character. Yeah, no, it was Brody's character. Yeah, it was Brody's character that he dropped knowledge for, which is kind of funny because, I mean, wasn't it Brody's character? It may have been the other one, Jeremy London's character. Because I didn't get to that last part of the movie, but it's something I've watched that a million times. But he comes in and he drops some knowledge there and relates it to comic books, something that these guys relate to here in this film, and it's really, really great. And the thing is about Kevin Smith in these movies is he drops all these. He was doing he basically laid the foundation for what Kevin Feige does in the MCU. You know what I mean? He built because he took and he built a world like in Clerks. And he put all these things in it, and then he goes into a movie like Mallrats, and he lays, sprinkles a little bit of that Clerks flavor in there, and some references from Clerks in there, and things that relate to that in there. And then you go and you watch the next movie he did, which the next one after that, if I'm not mistaken, was Chasing Amy after this, and then was Dogma, I believe. And just kind of sprinkles those in there. And, obviously the one thing that we've got tying all these together is Jay and Silent Bob, who is kind of that one thread that weaves through all of these View Askew films. And it's really good. So, essentially, Kevin Smith is really, I guess, the originator of what we're getting in the MCU. He's the one of the first people who's coming out there doing like basically separate films that all seem to tie together through these couple of well, for one, being in this same location, involving some of these same characters and things like that. Like really, I guess we could say Kevin Smith made the template for what the MCU is now doing. I see it, Kevin Feige. I'm on to your game. Who's next? I mean, we've got Kevin Smith. Who's next? John Hughes? Is that what you're going with? Is that your hook? What are you going to do next, Kevin Feige? I'm on to you, bro. I'm watching you. I'm watching you. But yeah, I think Kevin Smith did a really good job, and like I said, it's one of those things. Like Kevin Smith progressively got better and better at his filmmaking and what he does, and that's why I can't wait to get into tonight to discuss as well. Because as we know, Jay and Silent Bob Reboot just released on digital not too long ago. It should be coming out on physical copy here here in the near future, I would guess. But you know, some people have talked about not liking. You know, Snowdub was in here earlier. Even talked about how he didn't like the new Kevin Smith movie, the new Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. And to me, I think it's a lot of because the way Kevin Smith's career has progressed here over time. Where, like I said, he started doing the comedy, and then he slowly transitioned it to being, you know, more dramatic, and then he finally got to where he can hit those beats of drama and comedy. And I think that's the thing. That's the biggest downfall of Jay and Silent Bob Reboot is it doesn't quite hit all of those beats the same way. The balance in that movie isn't, it's not as great as he did because, and I'll tell you, because he really, really, really outdid himself in Clerks 2. Okay, Clerks 2, and then this is going to be the hard thing about getting on Fanjextra's show tonight. I think that Clerks 2 is probably his best film. I hope, you know, I'm certainly gonna do my best to make sure that it makes it there to that winning spot tonight, because Clerks 2 is one of those movies. He hit every single beat that he needed to in that movie. There's great drama. There's great comedy. There's great character interactions. There's great callbacks. Everybody came in and did their job great. He did new things. He did different things. And it all played so well. And even still, sorry guys, sorry. I can't think about that movie and think about the dramatic beats that it hit in the movie, and how they hit me and how they affect me every single time without getting a little emotional. But you can see, look, see how my eyes are starting to well up a little bit. Because that's how good of a job he did in Clerks 2, doing all that. He hit all these right notes and like he didn't even tug at the member berries. He tugged at like real life shit. You know what I mean? Like stuff that, like I said, people not wanting to confront things, people that have issues with doing some of those things. You know what I mean? And he hits those beats so perfectly fucking well in Clerks 2, man. Um, and I think I think maybe in Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, he was trying to go back and do that again, try to revisit that, and it's just something you can't do. At the same time, while he was also regressing back to Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back and trying to combine the two. And I just don't know. For one, I don't think Jason Mewes has those dramatic chops in him to do what was being asked of him to do in that film. I don't think he has it in him. And I'm not saying that Jason Mewes is a terrible actor or anything. But he's not a great actor neither. You know what I'm saying? And I think largely that's what takes away from what was going on in Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, where because they were doing some really funny stuff. There's some great comedy stuff in there, but then playing on that with some of the dramatic stuff that was supposed to be in there, it just didn't land as well because of Jason Mewes' inability to be as dramatic. And also I think some of that plays on Shannon Elizabeth too when she's in the movie, because I think she could be a decent dramatic actress, but her role, and again, this all still comes down to Kevin Smith's directing as well, because the actors are only doing what they are asked of them by Kevin Smith. So I think, and I think that's where the downfall of it. I mean, Jay and Silent Bob Reboot is definitely not his favorite movie. If anything, it's more one of his lower tier films. But it's going to be interesting to see. I want to, maybe we're going to see a ranking of how all of those films fall tonight. because it's gonna be very interesting to see how all that does. Not only for me, but for all of us, how we all vote on it. Because think about Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. I do like the movie. I do like the movie, and I think it is funny, and I think it is dramatic. But the balance isn't quite there to what he did with Clerks 2, and even that of Chasing Amy. With the rest of his films, I don't know that they're meant to be that. Like, you watch Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, it's mostly comedy. It's mostly comedy. You get a little bit of drama sprinkled in there, but it's mostly comedy where they're just kind of taking the whole View Askew Universe and tying them all together with these two characters. Chasing Amy was a great one. Dogma was one we haven't talked about here yet, but we'll probably definitely be talking about tonight, where it's got the thing about Dogma is like you can't do a movie like that and have it be dramatic, because it's playing on religion, and religion is something people don't like to discuss, don't like to even joke about, laugh about, or anything like that. But I thought Dogma really, really hit all those right strides as well. It did enough drama-ish kind of things, because there's no real drama in it, but it did a really good job in being funny and slapsticky and involving those things that we probably feel are emotionally invested in, being our religion and the things that we believe in. It had to take all those things and balance those out within the confines of a film that is mostly supposed to be comedic, and I think it did a very good job at doing that. So it's going to be interesting trying to rank Dogma against some of these movies. It's going to be dogmatic, if anything, because of the kind of film it is. And that's the thing, is like the Kevin Smith films, they're all really essentially comedies mixed with some drama mixed in there. And obviously ties plenty of pop culture, nerd culture, and things like that in there as well. And that's the interesting thing that is Kevin Smith's career. And you can go see the movies that he did outside the View Askew universe. You can watch Red State, you can watch Tusk, and see these movies and be like, wow, man, like, I thought Tusk, I finally went back and looked at and got some of the confusion, cleared some of the confusion on those movies. Tusk is a really great movie, the way it's done, and it makes me think like Kevin Smith should try doing like a horror film. He really should, like another one, because I think this movie, it kind of falls along there, like horror thriller kind of stuff. I think he should do try more of that, because I thought Tusk was a good movie in that sense. I've got to go back and watch Red State, because for some reason I was thinking that one was Tusk, but then I know I've seen both of them. I'm glad we're not talking about those ones tonight, because those ones I would have a more difficult time ranking, because it has been a while since I've seen those. But both very, very great movies. And I'm going to go ahead and scroll up here and address the chat before we get ready to end the show here. But make sure you guys go check out, like I said, there's links down in the description where you can go check out Fanjexer's channel, check out the link there to the show that we're going to be doing tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be a great time. Okay, so let's see. Let's see. Okay, I think we're here at a good place right here. Okay. Peter Kobalucci. Okay, he said, how are you? Mallrats, I have that movie. Great. Yes, awesome. Okay, I remember seeing he came in here. Oh, Wookie Supremacy says, Joey Lauren Adams had her titties out in that one. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. Apex Comics, thank you for being here. Says, the great Stan Lee appearance in Mallrats. Absolutely. It's so great, too, because you see, I can't remember if he's in here. I put him in the thumbnail, but it's so great seeing him in that, because, he's an older man, even in this movie, and you see him in there, and you look at it compared to now, you're like, or compared to when he passed away, like, man, he really did, like, he looked good. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was looking good, man. Like, Stanley, he always just kind of, I don't know, he just had that Stanley swagger. You know what I mean? Like, nobody else is gonna have that Stanley swagger. A Duda review says, I still can't do those magic eyes. Oh, those the magic eyes things. I can. I was always able to do those. Yeah, those. But I get, like, my sister, she wasn't very good at them either. What is a mall? Says Lonely Banter. Yes. Wookie Supremacy says, same as a strip mall, but it's all fancy and indoors. LB. Yes, Apex Comics says, great Stanley's appearance in Mallrats. Captain Pennsylvania says, still haven't seen Clerks 2. You haven't seen Clerks 2? Dude, like, that's seriously probably Kevin Smith's best movie. I want to say it probably is. I I know you know what a strip mall is. Yeah, yeah. You bet, LB. Stop playing around, man. Come on, you're not that lonely. Or maybe you are. Maybe you should go be lonely in a strip mall and get some ice cream. um, let's see. A Duda Reviews says Clerks 2 is pretty good. The donkey scene cracks me up. Oh, it's called interspecies erotica. Captain Pennsylvania says, I'll check it out before the stream tonight. You should, dude. Clerks 2 is a classic, dude. I'm telling you. I do think it's his best one. I hope it wins tonight. I hope it does. Wookiee Supremacy says, the Donkey Show is worth the watch alone. It absolutely is. Apex Comics says, America closed a bunch of malls during the Obama years. Yes. That's true. That's honestly true. A lot of things came closed during those years. But a lot of that also has to do with technology and things like that as well, because we see Amazon started to take its prominence and things like that. Blockbusters started to go out of style. And it's funny because not too long ago, me and Young Rippa 59, a few months ago, I did an interview with Young Rippa 59. We got together and talked about some stuff, and that was one of the things we brought up was the Blockbuster conundrum. How did Blockbuster lose? They lost to Netflix and Redbox. They literally had a store full of movies. All they had to do was streamline it, shrink their staff down, shrink the size of their stores, put a little kiosk out front to where you could rent the movies and come up and you can rent them and return them and everything, just like you do inside the store. They could have had everything. They could have done it all right. They had everything they had all the resources and everything. And that's the thing, is you got to stay up with the times. They didn't want to stay up with the times. They had a chance to. They couldn't do it. They didn't do it, and they should have. And, they ended up losing out. But anyway, I've seen one once in Mexico, says Wookiee Supremacy. Says, do kids even hang out these days, says LB? Man, I don't know. Yeah, Peter Colabucci says, it's a sailboat! Yeah, that's hilarious. Like, and like... What does this say? What is it? A Merlin? Not a no. What? I can't remember what they call it. Whatever it is, I've all of a sudden forgot. A Marlin? Yeah, I can't remember. Not a Marlin. A Marlin's a damn fish. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, he's like, ha ha, it's a boat, and they're like, that is a boat, you idiot. Yeah, that is great. Three out of the 5 malls are completely dead. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Apex Comics says Mallrats 2. Yes, I believe he's working on Mallrats 2 right now. Snowdub says, interesting fact, Mallrats was filmed in Mall of America in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Absolutely, it was. Empty malls are full of shady people. Yes, they are. And matter of fact, a book that I just picked up this week is this one right here called Mall, issue number 5. This one's actually a pretty good book. It's like a post-apocalyptic future in which a bunch of people are holed up in a mall. It's pretty good. A Duda Review says, I love Mallrats, probably for the nostalgia, but there's some great scenes. The Easter Bunny scene is great. Absolutely, yeah, Mallrats is good. Definitely not his best one, but Mallrats is definitely one of his classic films. Snoochie Boochies. Snoochie Boochies. Yeah, man, that's great from Chasing Amy, where Matt Damon and Brian O'Halloran's characters, where they're doing the snoochie boochies, like off-strip casinos in Vegas. First Fat Man appearance. Yep, it was in Mallrats. Absolutely mind-boggling. Lonely Banter says, an empty mall is a place a lonely man would love. Probably so. It bottles the mind, doesn't it? Sith Lord, thank you so much for being here. Let's see, we still got Lord Callus in the house. Snowdub Music and Entertainment says, preach, Trinity. Thank you, sir. Sith Lord says, the old Smith movies were great. They absolutely were. Says, maybe if you're a lonely man with a lot of dope to unload, I guess. You trying to get LB a second job, man? What are you doing, man? Vlad Wright, thank you so much for being here, says, and that's all I have to say about that. Yes, Observing Report gets effing dark. It does, man. It really gets dark. Berserker Barrage! Yes, when Jay and Bob beat up the Easter Bunny, that was great. Yes, it was. Wookiee Supremacy says, Wonder Woman Poo Nanny is the only thing strong enough to take Superman. Lois would die. Great comic, but yes, that was pretty funny. Yeah, just the funny discussions that they have in that movie. Absolutely hilarious. Should I call you Logan Weapon X? No, Wolverine. No, Wolverine. Yes, great stuff, man. Snick it, snick it. I'm scared to watch it. Which one are you scared to watch? Mallrats? Mallrats is great. Nerdy Blurb TV says, yo, can't wait for the Fanjextra video tonight. Me neither, man. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time for all. Wookiee Supremacy says, an argument that was addressed in Hancock. Ooh, man, I haven't seen Hancock in a while. That is a good one. That is a good one, too. Sith Lord says, reboot was okay. Would have been better without his daughter and friends. Yeah, and I think that's kind of like was the whole point of the reboot. I think they could have done some of that comedy a lot better. But I think a lot of the comedy, when I was there seeing it at the theater, was it kind of fell flat on some people because they didn't understand it. Like, they didn't get the jokes, you know what I mean? Because they're playing a lot on what's going on in Hollywood and the reboots and the remakes, and they even had a scene where they explained all that, and I thought was freaking hilarious. Really didn't like Reboot. Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of people didn't. Like I said, I mean, you've got to really be interested in the universe, and then be willing to understand that it is supposed to be more dramatic, not as comedic. And the comedic, like the balance of comedy and drama in it is, I think, what hurts it the most. Clerks was better, but Clerks 2 was funny. See, and that's where I it depends on what you're wanting out of Clerks. I think Clerks 2 is the better movie, and I think it's probably his best movie, but that by no means that Clerks isn't good. Because Clerks being his first movie, I mean, he was young, he was hungry, he was doing something groundbreaking, something new. I thought it was good. Snowdub says, I liked it, it just wasn't as good as the last one. Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not. Lonely Bench says, Second Street, I agree, maybe. Now I gotta watch Clerks 2 tonight. Yes, definitely go watch Clerks 2 tonight, man. Watch it. Watch it before 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. James from DKOT Star Wars says, alright, who gave the thumbs down? Who knows, man. There's always somebody out there, but it's all good. I don't mind a thumbs down. I'm all good with it. You know, make sure you give a thumbs up, give a thumbs down. It's all good. I don't take it personal. Snowdub Music and Entertainment says, it felt like a push for his daughter to be in it, and she wasn't a very good actress. Yeah, I'll agree with you. I totally agree with you there. Clerks 2 was perfect. Clerks 2 is perfect. It is probably his most perfect film of all. Definitely. Apex Comics says Rosario Dawson was great in Clerks 2. Rosario Dawson, like Clerks 2 is what made me like Rosario Dawson. I wasn't a fan of hers or at all really before. Like I didn't like her. I didn't dislike her. I just kind of thought, she is okay. Like I don't know. I didn't really see the Rosario Dawson appeal. And then I watched that movie and I'm like, you know what? I really do like her. She's a decent actress. And I seen that I'm like, she actually is a good actress. And you know, I really never thought she was like beautiful or anything. Until I seen that movie, I'm like, you know what? Like she is striking. Like she's got, because one thing I like out of people, I like odd features, you know. And she's one of those people. Like her face isn't like she don't have traditional beauty. You know what I mean? She's got a lot of really a lot of strong accents. You know, I mean, she's got, you know, kind of a square jawbone. You know, she's got some bigger lips. She's got those big teeth. She's got those big eyes and her nose. I mean, like there's all of them. Like she's not, like I said, she's not ugly at all. Cause I like those odd looks. She just got like these just kind of like odd features, like that non-traditional beauty, and that's something that I love in people, is this like that non-traditional looks and non-traditional beauty, and she has it. And I guess I never really saw it before Clerks 2. You know what I mean? And I seen her in that. I'm like, man, she really is great. She really is great, and I became a fan of hers because of Clerks 2. Honestly, I mean, just to be honest with you, yeah. Clerks 2 was perfect. Sith Lord says, "Damn Trinity." Yeah, I know, dude. Like I'm easily hit by stuff, and I'm telling you that scene. There's those scenes in Clerks 2. They get me every single time. It's the scenes when they're sitting there in jail and thinking about that, and the people dealing with stuff, people dealing with real life issues, stuff like that. It really gets to me, man. It does. It does. It does. Rosario Dawson was great in Clerks 2. Absolutely, I agree with you 100%. Apex Comics. A dude review says Lord of the Rings versus Star Wars scene was great. Yes, definitely hilarious stuff. Wookiee Supremacy says that right there is one real motherfucker. DKOT Star Wars James says, as an actor, I can say arguments with the director are common, so you can't always blame the director. Yeah, no, I don't think everything is on the director, but it's on the director to get the best out of their actors and to get what they want on screen. That's up to the director, and which is something you guys probably haven't seen it. because nobody was really watching a whole lot of my videos back then. But about Brie Larson and her acting in the Captain Marvel movie, that's directing. That wasn't her. And I'm telling you, maybe it's just me making excuses, but I believe there are reasons for that in the movie, and I've explained those before. I don't really want to get into that right now. I will address that in a future video that I've been wanting to work on. James says, I like Kevin Smith, but I hate needing a dictionary to watch his movies or read his comics. Right? I know. And yeah, he's even coined some terms out there and made them popular. Dogma was special because he was able to poke fun at Catholics without being hateful. Absolutely, Wookie. Absolutely. Biden Dirty, thank you so much for being here. Biden Dirty says, a mall is a half empty, depressing concrete structure. Very much so. Very much so. Oh man, and it jumped again on me. This thing jumped on me again. Rosetta Allen says, "Sorry I missed you this morning. Trying to get myself more in the comic creator culture." Awesome, yeah. Thank you for being here, Rosetta. And yeah, there's plenty of great comic content creators out there. You can go follow. Like, go check out Rod the Rican at Just a Rican and his comics. Check out Perry's comics, great stuff. Go check out I Am True Skills if he's here in the chat. I Am True Skills is a good one. There's a whole bunch of different. There's a whole bunch of great comic book community creators out there. And also, I mean, Rosetta, I know you know Red Gaze. Red Gaze is really good, and he don't talk about mainstream comics, but he talks with a lot of independent, like truly independent creators, comics book creator, Comicsgate creators, and things like that. He really does help out a lot with that. And in case you guys don't know, in case you guys don't follow Red Gaze actually just crossed 1,000 subscribers recently. And you know what, guys? I want to say congratulations to Red Gaze, because that's awesome. Like I said, like if you go to Red Gaze's channel, he don't even really do content like for himself, about things. Like, most of his content is promoting other comic book creators, and that's awesome. That's awesome when you got people out there willing to do that. Just like my buddy JB from Discovery Bay Comics. He's like a TV guide for comic book content creators. So cool stuff, you know. So when Red Gaze is out there and doing some of those cool things, it's really great that we get people out there who are using their channels, using their influence, using their reach to help other creators. That's something that's absolutely freaking great. That's one of the things I like about Red Gaze, and what he's doing over there with his channel. Good stuff. Definitely some good stuff. DKOT Star Wars says non-traditional beauty. Good way to put it. Yeah, and that's what I look at it as, because, like I said, I like women with odd features. You know what I mean? I like odd features. To me, I think are great. That's why I hate when you see one of these actresses that goes and gets a nose job, or gets, you know, whatever, these different things. Like you know what? Like, your imperfections are what make you perfect. Your imperfections are what make you perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at Will. Like, look at Will. Oh man, why all of a sudden am I forgetting his name? Will Ferrell. Yeah, you go look. Like, one of the things a lot of people do is they get their teeth straightened first. You know, look at my teeth. Look at my teeth. But his teeth are all kind of jacked up. He's never went and got them straightened. But that's one of the things, like, a lot of people do, and all those kinds of things. You know, a lot of people do that in Hollywood, and I get it. You know, you're kind of banking on your looks and stuff like that. But I do like non-traditional looks in women and stuff like that. So yeah. Biden Dirty says Rosario Dawson is steaming hot. DKOT says I like her. She's sexy AF, but I don't want her for Ahsoka. Interesting. Sith Lord, right? You don't want a dingy. I will never turn down Rosario Dawson, says Apex Comics. Me neither at this point. Like I said, I was never really a big fan before, but then I watched Clerks 2 and I'm like, man, she really is good. She's a good actress. She's very beautiful. Sith Lord says, all good, Trinity. Nothing wrong with genuine passion. Yeah, man, like, I'm I'm bad, man. Like I said, like, I might come off as an asshole, but you know what, dude? I'm really just emotional. I'm actually in touch with my emotions. I'm comfortable with myself, man. LB says, that Second Street Marvel. So what about her in Endgame, huh? What about her in Endgame? What do you mean? Who in Endgame? Who is in Endgame? Endgame? Who are you talking about was in Endgame? Did I miss something here? Rosario Dawson wasn't in Endgame. I must. Oh, you're talking. Oh, okay. You're talking about. This must be referring to the Brie Larson thing. I think she did just fine in Endgame. I thought she did just fine. I mean, she did what the directors asked her to do. I mean, the role that she was playing in Endgame, I thought she did fine in. Just like I think she did fine in Captain Marvel for what she was being asked to do. And like I said, I don't want to get into that in this, but there are reasons why I believe, people, all the whole smile thing and everything. I believe there are reasons why that was portrayed that way on screen, and I'll get into that later. Um, Rosetta Allen says, I disagree. I've seen Bree several times and always badly acted or forgettable. Again, I haven't really seen a whole lot of her movies, but I do believe in Captain Marvel, and I've expressed those in some of my Captain Marvel videos that I talked about, why I believe that she was like that or why they directed her to be like that. But I could be totally wrong. It could be me making up excuses or me just putting my twist on why I think that is. Hey, Peter Parker, you got something for me? Slaps forehead. Yes, okay. Yeah, that was, Brie Larson says she's the greatest of all time. Okay, well, that's going a little bit far. Or Wookiee Supremacy says her little run downstairs was a great Larson performance, Rosetta. Oh man, that's funny. DK James says Bree's boobs. I'm trying to get hired only on a few indie comics to be partial artists on them. Awesome. That'd be cool, Rose. That is, see some of your art in there. Awesome. DKOT Star Wars. James says Red Gaze has that smooth radio voice. Yes, the best I've seen from her. Pope Cerebus the First says, "Thanks for the heads up on Red Gaze. Yeah, go check out Red Gaze. He does a lot of great videos talking with independent comic creators out there. And I seen him. He was on Mad Max's stream yesterday. Not like actually on Mad Max's stream yesterday, but was there interacting on. And he'll probably be on Mad Max's stream soon." Lonely Banter says Captain Marvel was terribly directed, but Brie Larson was below average in the role. And I feel actually quite the contrary. For several different reasons that I'm not going to get into right now. We don't have enough time for that. Wookiee Supreme says Brie's got a decent rag, just needs to focus on those squats. You guys are, oh man, you guys are funny, man. Freedom of Speech says Brie Larson was great as Captain Marvel. Like I said, and I even said this before, like as Captain Marvel, I thought she did a great job. Like the Captain Marvel in that movie is the Captain Marvel that I know from the comics, that I've read in the comics, which I'm not going to get into that right now. But I thought it was a perfect portrayal of what I seen in the comics. 2 words at Unicorn Store. That was her own train wreck. I haven't seen that movie. Maybe I need to go and read that one and check it out and see how that is. Anna Kasparian lost 99% of her beauty when she got a nose job. I have to check out to see who that is. Freedom of Speech says lookism. I'm not here to read definitions, but maybe later. Sith Lord says I only like Brie and Scott Pilgrim playing Envy Adams. That's one of those ones I haven't seen. Wookiee Sperm says Captain Marvel sucks. Brie played her. I was gonna say, and that's the thing. Like you realize that. I mean, Wookiee, like Brie did play that character, that embodiment of that character, Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, perfectly. She did. The Carol Danvers Captain Marvel that I know in the comics and was introduced to in the comics that I first read. She played that role perfectly. Because when I first got introduced to Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers Captain Marvel in the comic books, she was not a likable character. I didn't like her in the comic books. She was kind of a jerk and all those kinds of things. And I mean, she displayed all those things perfectly in the movie. I'm telling you, she played it really well. And I'm just gonna leave it at that for now until I get my Saving Captain Marvel video done. But yeah, I mean, I thought she did perfect for it. Captain Pennsylvania says Soulja Boy made millions rapping and he was horrible. This is true. Sith Lord says it wouldn't have made that if it wasn't sandwiched between Infinity War and Endgame. Everybody likes to argue about it. It would or it wouldn't have. I gotta disagree with a lot of that. I think it still probably would have made that. I think it still would have made 1 billion easily. Would it have made much more than 1 billion? That I do kind of doubt. But the whole thing with it being sandwiched in between Infinity War and Endgame to me is irrelevant because you could easily say the same thing about Ant-Man, and look how Ant-Man and Wasp did. Ant-Man and Wasp didn't do as good, and it was sandwiched in between those, and it related to those movies as well, right? So I don't think it's just there's a lot that goes into it, but I think for the most part it did all that on its own merits, not just because that it was sandwiched in between those two movies, or just because that post credit scene kind of made it seem like you had to watch it. I do not believe that that's the reason why it did. It had the success at the box office it did. I just do not believe that. I'm not saying it's not true, and there's really no proof of it whatsoever. There's really no proof. And I mean, even when the next Captain Marvel movie comes out, even if it does good or bad, that's really still kind of no proof of why it did the numbers that it did. There are reasons for all that. I mean, and I can't just put it all solely between it because it fell between those two movies. I just can't do that. Um, I don't even know Second Street if you have seen my art. I've seen some of what you've done just there on some of your streams. I've seen Rosetta. I've seen some of those. So maybe like completed pieces, maybe not, but I've seen you there doing some of your art on stream before. Sir Nerd a lot says hello there. Did I miss the Mallrats stuff? Yes, we're getting ready to wrap it up. I watched Empire and Jedi and have been trying to do Jedi stuff all day. Nice, nice. Captain Marvel in the comics turned me off the Avengers, right? Let's see. Kind of got everybody in here just kind of talking about some Captain Marvel drama and stuff. Lonely Banter says, and Ant-Man and Wasp got promoted way less. Yeah, it did get promoted less. And didn't get a mid-credit scene, right? Right. Plus, they marketed Captain Marvel like you had to see it before Endgame. I don't, and see, that's the thing is, I don't know that they really did market it like you had to see it after Endgame or before Endgame. But I mean, certainly, if you're invested in the MCU and all that stuff, you're gonna watch it anyway. That's the thing is, like, if you're invested in these movies, you're gonna watch it regardless. So I don't know. There's a whole lot that goes into that. Stuff that, like I said, maybe I'll include some of that in my Saving Captain Marvel video. Um, um, let's see. Supremacy, Uncle Tom, offensive North American black man considered to be excessively obedient. Are we here just dropping definitions into freedom of speech? Like, you're cool to be here. Like it's all good, but like, guys, you don't have to be fighting in the comments. We're talking about movies. We're talking about comic books. We're talking about nerd shit. And you want to fucking act like kids about it. Guys, grow up. They're fucking movies. It's nothing to argue over. If you don't like it, you don't like it. If you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. If you like somebody else's opinion, you like it. If you don't like their opinion, you don't like it. You don't have to argue about it. You don't have to drop definitions in the chats. Get a fucking life. Lonely Banter says, but I knew it would make bank, just not that much. Yeah, true, very true. Certain Lot says, Brie will always be Rachel from Community to me. 6 seasons and a movie. Pope Cerebus says, left of what? That's what I'm saying. Like, is Freedom a troll? No, I don't think Freedom's a troll. Freedom's just... I think freedom of speech is just somebody who's, a fan of Captain Marvel, of the Captain Marvel movie, and Brie Larson, and there's nothing wrong with that. I have no problem with somebody that likes Brie Larson or the Captain Marvel movie or is an MCU stan or anything. I don't care about that. Just, there's no reason to sit here and fight with each other in the fucking comments section like a bunch of fucking children. Grow up. Grow the fuck up. But no, Freedom's some comic book hunter. Freedom's not a troll, and I mean, Freedom probably wants to be confrontational and stuff like that. But again, guys, like, come on, we're talking about nerdy shit here. We're talking about fucking movies and comic books and nerdy shit. You're gonna sit here and seriously start slinging mud at each other? Come on, it's not that important, guys. It's not that important. It's okay. It's okay to disagree. It's okay to disagree. You don't even have to agree to disagree, because it's okay to just disagree. Get over it, guys. Get over it. It's okay. If you guys want to fight about something, let's fight in the comments about how I don't think the Christopher Nolan Batman movies are all that great. They're okay. They're not my favorites. I mean, they're certainly good, but I don't put them up on that pedestal that everybody else seems to. The best one is Batman Begins. Why don't you fight about that in the comments instead of slinging mud at each other about fucking Captain Marvel. That I said is fucking stupid. Stupid. Stupid you just sitting in there in the comments doing this shit. Like, grow up, guys. Come on, man. Anyway, guys, that's going to bring this show to an end. We've gone on way too long today, guys. But thank you all so much for tuning into the Second Street Marvel. If you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe. Click the little bell so you get notifications anytime. You know, all that good stuff. Make sure you do it. Make sure you give it a thumbs up. Give it a thumbs down if you want. I honestly don't care which one you do. Just make sure that you interact. Share it with a friend and invite them to come hang out with us here on the Second Street Marvel. And also, make sure while you're sharing that, make sure that you tell your friend about those links down in the description where you can become a monthly Patreon supporter, where you can send direct donations in via Streamlabs, or you can even go subscribe to Fanjexter's channel and check out his live stream that he's going to be doing tonight with me, as we are going to be discussing and ranking and finding out which Kevin Smith movie is the best one out there in the View Askew Universe. You all have a very good day. Have a great rest of your weekend. We'll see you tonight over on Fanjexter's channel, where we're going to really get into some Kevin Smith movies. Later.